In college, I had kind of defined myself as a snowboarder chick, the girl who all the guys wanted to hang out with and go snowboarding with. My clothes, the car I was driving, the people I was hanging out with, everything was focused around being a professional snowboarder one day. It was who I saw myself as and who everyone knew me as. So when I got back from Africa, I didn't know anything else besides jumping back into this snowboarding culture. So I immediately moved to Vail into the mountains and found myself falling into pretty severe depression. And this was January of 2009. And I found myself in a place where I couldn't wake up in the mornings without crying, without knowing what I was living for anymore. One weekend, I was just trying to find some way to feel alive and to find happiness again. So I went snowboarding with some old friends in Breckenridge, and the morning that we were getting up, getting ready to head to the mountain, I just had this sense that life should be more, that there should be more than what I was settling for. And I prayed and just asked God what He wanted for my life for the first time ever. It had always been what I had wanted, what I had seen for my life to follow. And so when I'd asked Him, I said, God, I want to live this life for You, but I don't know how, and I don't know where You are, but I need You to physically take me to where You need me, because I can't do this alone. As we were riding the lift up to get to the top, all I remember was hiding myself from the wind, and then there was suddenly nothing under me on the lift, and I knew I was falling. I hit the ground and blacked out from the pain. I slowly started getting the story of what had happened in pieces. I'd fallen from a ski lift about 30 feet in the air, landed on pure ice. My body didn't make a dent in the snow. I had landed on my face, which had scorpioned my back and snapped it in half, which also crushed 7 of my vertebrae. My board had come up behind me and hit my head, almost scalping me on the top. They airlifted me to Denver, where they found a lot of internal bleeding. My heart, my aorta had ruptured. 2 of the 3 layers that surround the aorta, the largest artery, had ruptured away, and there was only a thin, fatty tissue holding the artery closed. Everyone was prepared for me not to wake up from heart surgery. No one survives a ruptured aorta. But the next morning, I woke up. There was lacerations in my liver. My kidney had failed, one of them. And there were other arteries close to bursting. Everything internal was so critical that they couldn't touch me anymore, so they just had to wait. And that's when prayer just went out all over the world to people we knew. I later found out that 500 kids in Kenya had been praying for me that night. And then the next morning, they did the same scans to check to see how I was doing. And all my internal organs had completely been regenerated, as if there had been no bleeding. Organs heal themselves, but not in a night. It usually takes months, if not ever. The doctors came out and they said, we can't medically explain what's happened, but we can go into back surgery now. They didn't know what was wrong with my back, but when they got in, they found out that my spine had fully snapped and that it was just floating, which should have severed my spinal cord, or at least done some damage to all my nerves. Along with the initial snap, there were 7 vertebrae that were crushed. And each level, I should have been paralyzed at 7 different levels. They woke me up on the 5th day after the accident, and I got up and walked. Something that never was supposed to happen. I should have died that first day, and I shouldn't have been able to walk. And that was the moment where God really met me for the first time, in the depths of wondering why I had gotten this miracle. I was sitting there, not able to really move, and thinking about how lucky I was to be alive. And in that moment, realizing how I wasn't living for Him, I wasn't doing anything for Him, and yet He still saved me from death and gave me back my life. And it was in that moment where I was like, God, I shouldn't be alive, but because of you, I get a second chance. I don't know why, but here's my life. It's not mine, obviously. I didn't save myself, and I don't know why I'm still alive, but show me what you want, and I'll do it. What should have been the worst thing that's ever happened to me woke me up to a bigger purpose for my life. When God just showed how much He loved me for who I was, He had created me to be, gave me a new identity and a new reason to live, a new purpose that would spark passion into my life and wake me up to everything He had created me to be. This life is such an amazing journey when you know who you are and who you've been created to be, and His love is what sparks everything. His love is what gives you a reason to live. His love is what gives you a purpose to wake up for. His love is what changes you to be able to love others, and it's the only thing that's worth anything in this world. If you don't have love, you have nothing. And God is love, and He changes you. And He changes everything.
Just one glimpse of your face is all I can dream of.